Welcome to all of you, and thank you for watching. I am Mike the Man, and I'm currently talking with Belinda about what I think are great. So I haven't listened to Darren, okay? I haven't listened to what Darren said about the dog biting uh, Lily. I believe it. I do believe it. Not because it's him saying it, but Belinda says the same thing. And she told me that Janie told her that. And now I'm going to get into the area of avoidance as well. And thank you for sending me the Darren. You know what? I want to hear from the people. I don't want to hear. Sometimes I do, okay? Sometimes I want to hear from the people who know the people who can repeat, oftentimes word for word, what they have been told, what they have observed, what they have witnessed, what surprised them, what stood out. It is very, very, very important. Darren Geddes is there to grandstand. He's not there to help, he's there to deceive. I think he's had enough publicity, in my opinion. All I want to do for him is to go away. That's the only favor the guy can do for me, to go away for good. So I did use a couple of images to demonstrate who I think he is and what I'm done. I'm really done. I'm really, really. I know that he jumps on every single post of mine, on every single video where he's mentioned everything, and he is so unimportant, people. Darren Geddes is so unimportant, and he has nothing. He knows more than most, and he has suspicions, but as he did reveal in these private phone conversations, he's guessing around. He said, Daniel told me that Malaya shipped the kids off. But he also said, what did he say? Did he say he actually believed it? Listen, if you want to. No, he didn't. All of his statements indicate that he was deceptive and that he knew this isn't going to, this isn't it. And he gotten so much attention. So, by all means, man, Jordan, anybody, listen, I didn't start a fire. It was always burning since your world's been turning. If I if I catch this a spark from it and a flame goes off and I don't put out the fire, how am I to blame for that? How am I to blame? See? And you're not the same as your dad. So the only thing I wanted from the very beginning was for him to go away and disappear. And let us be. But 80 or 90% of the people interested in the case have been glued in to what Durwood had been doing, had been saying, and so on and so such. And they lie about it too. Many have messaged me and said, I never really pay attention to him except, and then I say, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then they send me 10 or 15 different uh, segments or statements, and I realize, why do you lie? If the email starts with, I normally don't listen to this channel. I know you're lying already. I know you're already lying. And what bothers me is not that you listen to something. What bothers me is the reason why you lie, because then your intentions become revealed. And through these statements, avoidances, and sensitivities, I realize that you are following the case for entertainment purposes only or primarily. And it's not a problem to have entertainment. I'm doing what I can to make this more entertaining, but I need it to be educational as well. For me, it's always very hard to mix entertainment with truth. And I love entertainment. I'm a musician. I life should be simple, life should be easy, life should be uncomplicated, life should be rewarding. We should get out of life what we put into it. I have my own thoughts on that. I love nature. Anyways, this is not about me. It's very dangerous when you are here in my position, and the more I listen to people saying the wrong thing, the more I feel triggered to clarify something. And it often gets uh, students to me holding a speech, but I'm not. I'm really replying, and I'm not even scratching the surface. Most of what I say that stands out to you, and you may wonder why is he saying that? It's me replying by video to people that I haven't replied to in person, and the reason can be, well, if your intention isn't to find out really what happened, or that is not your primary um, intention, I'm not going to waste my time. That's fine. You see, it's fine. You can do what you want. But the moment that you try to come to me and add confusion, right? And like one of you claims, oh, maybe Sebastian Rogers was killed by the neighborhood kids. I ask, why do you say that? And believe me, I'm not attacking you. I'm using your confusion as an example of what happens when people listen to anything and they don't have a filter, and then they come to me, and while we are trying to figure out the things that are important, they're sidetracking us with garbage, right? So one thing I will stop doing is name names in a good light or in a bad light, because I think that this is a lot more important also than, and I said also because there's a different reason. So when I say it's a lot more important, listen closely. What I told you is, well, the reason I'm not going to name names. And I started saying it's a lot more important than just the individuals who are confused, because there are so many. And there's a reason why more than 90% of the tips, if you can call it that, from the RCMP, more than 90% are bogus. I would have guessed that. I would have guessed that exact number. It's a little bit more than 90%, but I would have said 90. Well, on a good day, I would have said 80. But then I thought about what has been going on in the case of Jack and Lily. And I thought, yeah, in this case, it's really, really on the high end. And when I say also, well, that's when I semi correct myself, because I realize that, of course, there are other reasons that I've learned and realized and come to conclude why it is not beneficial for me to turn every example into a headline or a praise or an accusation for that matter, right? I overpraise and I overly accuse. Or I say, this person, and I forget nothing. I never forget anything, by the way. I never forget the good that people do. 30 years later, I know you by that. But I also don't forget when somebody has shown me, or somebody close to me, bad intentions. And intentions are everything, people. Intentions are everything. You can call me a certain name and we laugh about it. You can call me a name a much less known to be offensive, and I'll never speak to you again, because it's all about the intention detection, people. Deception detection is a lot catchier, right? A lot catchier. I am the intention detective, people. Intention is number one, because it's easy to make people feel smart and say, I'm the deception. And tell them, wow, you just detected somebody's deception. And Peter Hyatt, he used deception detection on his Twitter account. That was a specialty. But you know what? That is the beginning of it. That is the first beginning stage of teaching statement analysis, because it doesn't give you the answers. We don't only want to know that somebody's lying, we need to know more. And that's why PLEDS is the best system. It's my system. It is the best system out there for forensic linguistics. Through PLEDS, you will not only realize what the deception is, but through the deception and the sensitivities and avoidances and the leakage, and you giving away your priorities in the very beginning of a sentence or a statement, shows me already or leads me towards what your intention is. You see, there are people using, and it can be that they're lawyers or private detectives or what have you. They use deceptive language a lot. And I've always bring them down to ground zero and be like, okay, when you talk to me, it has to be a little bit different. So tell me directly what you want. Tell me why you don't want to help me with something. Tell me why you want me to help you. Tell me what you need help with. And a lot of times people ask you for favors that they wouldn't do for you. When people come to you and show deceptive language, they may ask you something or for a favor or to do something that is really nothing. And you may think like, yeah, of course but something bothers you about the way that they approach you. You know, I was wondering, listen, do you think it would, and it's too much. It's too much. Sure, now somebody from the UK is going to tell me probably, well, that's how we talk. Yeah, that's a pattern you developed. I agree with that. And to answer the language question that I have been getting again, and absolutely, slang is very important. And thankfully, I have so many people around the world, so many different parts of the US and now Canada, who are able to assist me when I ask, listen, there's a sensitivity. And by the way, sensitivities, that is the exact area where we allow ourselves to make mistakes. If you have a sheet in front of you, you can print something out and have you can write the sensitivities. This is, if you don't make mistakes in sensitivities, you either are very well advanced or you're not doing it, or you're too scared to do it. You need to allow yourself to make mistakes. When you do it, and a lot of people, they want to feel like they know everything immediately. This is not for you. The first thing you have to admit to yourself is that I don't know anything. And the more you learn, even if you become the best in the field, the only thing you're going to think about is what you don't know. The only thing you're going to be able to think about is the questions where you were stumped or realized, oh, there's something there, but I cannot put my finger on it. I don't know what to, holy crap, what am I going to do right now? How am I? Let me ask Mike. Let me ask somebody. Yeah, it's good. And you can always ask your questions in the comment section. And I invite you to do that. And I also invite all of you guys who have learned to please volunteer to answer people. Volunteer to do that. If somebody is where you were 2 or 3 months ago and gets confused, answer. Let them know what you have learned. Let them know where they're going wrong. Not grandstanding, not so. We are all here to help each other. That's what my channel is all about. So, intention, when you get to the intention part, you know what is going on. From there, it all falls into place. And then the patterns reveal themselves. So, when you have somebody who always wants something, you realize all of a sudden, you know what? Okay, this person always wants something. And by want, it doesn't have to be a cup of sugar or, or some money to borrow, or it can also be always needing, being having an emotional black hole in your soul that constantly needs feeding. Do you know people like that? They're easily to detect. They're easily detected. That's a part of intention detection right there. Emotional vampires, that's a word for it, and you can immediately spot them through plaids. The priorities usually reveal themselves. When people are overly polite, almost submissive, subservient, self deprecating. There's a reason for that. And usually it has to do with them asking people to do what they wouldn't do for them. That's why it becomes so easy for them, because they already have a lot of practice. Not necessarily from a willing neighbor like you to say, yeah, sure, I give, but where does it lead? After a while, there will be a pattern, a communication pattern established between you and that person. And it's going to be normalized that you always are on the giving end, and that person is always on the receiving end. And you're going to feel drained one way or the other. And one day you're going to wake up and say, geez, no, I'm not talking about a cup of sugar. I'm talking about somebody always telling you, you know, a lot of these people, they take on this victim mentality. They always want other people to fix something for them. Oh, can you wait for me? Can you do? So all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, you know what? I was going to do something important today, and now this person has me tied up, uh, watching for the delivery driver or what have you, or the repairman or what. It never stops until you put your foot down, and then they'll find a different sucker. But you can immediately avoid it when you apply the pledge system to every aspect of your life, because the people who are truthful, who don't want to take advantage of you, who don't have an agenda, and agenda is a huge part of intention detection. When people have an agenda, it shows. And that's what I get a lot in the case of Jack and Lily. There are a lot of people with agendas, and they don't like me because I immediately see through it, right? And again, I'm not going to name these people. I don't want to promote them. I don't want to make them more important than they are, but they seem to be like leeches coming in, pretending to care about Jack and Lily. And they'll say, oh, Jack and Lily are a priority, or the center of it, at the center of it. What does it mean? And the center of what? When somebody comes, told me, by the way, Jack and Lily are at the center of it all. What does that mean? Did you ever hear me say these things? Well, once in a while I clarify when I hear statements like these. The only thing that matters, there's only one thing that matters to me. The only thing that matters is to figure out what happened to Jack and Lily. That's the only thing. Nothing else is important. If Durwood can help me, but you see, he repeats, he told her on the phone, well, Daniel told me. And one of you pointed this out a long time ago. I knew he's full of it because he said, Daniel told me. And she said that Durwood is Daniel by proxy. And that's exactly what it was. Somebody who came along and said, I'll help you. And then the ball rolled and the idiots paid attention. Right? So never start a sentence with, I normally never listen to this, but, well, the but already gives it away. That's a huge part of it. So when people try to give us a speech about how this is all for Jack and Lily, share this video for Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily are in their sentences, they're telling us that they have an agenda, and the agenda can be manifold. The agenda can be somebody repeating what Daniel said, which of course indicates his intentions to sidetrack. So when you become a mouthpiece for somebody, you go on all of these different shows and you talk and you type and you're on Facebook and you get attention. That attention could be easily used to solve the case. I believe that without Durwood's activities, this case would have already been solved. because the eyes would have been on Daniel. And it doesn't matter if you think he did it or not. He knows. Janie knows. Malaya knows. These people know for 100%. You don't have to get ahead of yourself if you don't want to listen to my other analyses and keep it a little bit lighter, which I understand, by the way. Everybody has, this is my profession. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a career or their expertise or something that they're good at and that they're passionate about. And sometimes people come to me who just want to, who know that there's nothing else out there. And they come to me to bring them back down. They have listened to who knows what, and the messages I usually get, oh, I'm glad I found you because I want to know more about the case. But everywhere else it's just nonsense, right? So, where was I at? I think I'm going to now talk about Belinda Gray. Belinda Gray, thank you for being there when I have a question. Because I was getting so many messages about Durwood talking about the dog nipping Lily whenever she screamed. Mrs. Belinda Gray. I asked her about her dog, and she said it was a small dog. I'm reading the message she sent to me. First, it starts out with me asking, what about the documents? Is there anything that about the dog or the dog biting or because here's another thing I need to make clear. More than 90% of the so-called tips were garbage. And people are not trying to help. People are trying to feel more important about themselves than they are. Okay? I'm going to go on a couple of tangents here because I want you to realize how unreliable people can be. And then explain to you later how you can detect it and become capable of filtering through it because you don't want to miss the good parts. Remember that woman in the case of Sebastian Rogers? Some Karen? Sorry, Karen, if there's a Karen here, but it's like that evening of when he was reported missing. This woman, there was a teenage boy walking by her house, I guess. And I'm probably getting this wrong, but I'm more or less I'm trying to tell you how I remember it. There was a teenage boy walking by her house. And remember, Sebastian Rogers, this is the case. That boy is still missing after what? A year and a half? Was it? Dude, it's almost 2 years, right? Wow, it's gonna be 2 years coming up. And that was a prime. Well, you can look at my videos. I'm not going to rehash it, but woman, there were pictures of Sebastian, a skinny 15-year-old boy with glasses, and some teenage boy with glasses walked by her house, and she's like, "I got him." Sorry, this is like the Janie voice, the Karen voice, I got him. I got Sebastian. Call the police. Call the cameras. Call the news. I got him. I got him. I'm the hero. Well, she didn't say I'm the hero, but I got him. I got him. I got him. Right? This is, based on a true story, and it's close to what happened. It's very, very close. It's how I remember it. So maybe I have the Mandela effect going a little bit because it's been almost a couple of years. And by the way, the Mandela effect is easy to explain as well. And I don't care if there are 10,000 books written about it. People want to stay busy. They want to sell something. They make more. It's very easy to explain. I can take 5 minutes later to do that. So I want to go back into this. Well, police came and said, they checked him. This is not Sebastian. This is whatever. Peter Smith. No, I don't know what his name is. And she said, "No, What? Are you saying I'm stupid? Are you saying I'm lying? This is a look at the picture. This is a okay. So the police probably told her in a very polite way. Eventually, shut the hell up. Go back in your house. Go to sleep. Take a rest and forget this ever happened. Right? It's not Sebastian, but we are the police. So leave us alone. We take care of it. Then she goes on Facebook, and I actually analyzed her Facebook post before. And she keeps swearing up and down. I saw him that morning. She got the time wrong. She said that morning. I forgot the exact. I think she said that she changed things around to make her own encounter appear more credible, even though, even though it was already determined this is not Sebastian Rogers, because she wanted to feel important about herself. She wanted to feel smart. She wanted to be a hero. She wanted recognition so badly that she got a high out of the thought that I could be the hero who figures out what's going on. And that was a high she didn't want to come down from. It's sort of like when you have somebody running away from home, prostituting himself, like in the base basketball diaries or whatever that movie was, for age, for the substance, right? And they get the incredible high, I guess. And coming down is even harder because the reality of life has changed. You're no longer in a beautiful house with your parents, have clean sheets and privacy, and you have a secret habit, but you're still taken care of. You're all of a sudden on the streets hustling people to pay for your habit. So that high is even harder to come down from. And once people feel a certain high or experience a rush and they wish life always felt like that, coming back down to reality, and the reality not only going back down to zero, but then feeling like an idiot for getting it so wrong, makes it even harder to come down, people. There is a reason for everything. It's easy to dismiss somebody and say, well, she's crazy. But you know what? The deeper you look into people, the less, and I have no problem with people throwing labels around out of confusion as placeholders. But when we look deeper into people, the one thing that you will realize with plants, you will never be able to be dismissive. You will always find out more about the people. What triggers them? What are their intentions? When you got the intention and you realize what that woman wants, you will understand that anything else she's going to say after that, until she comes to the bitter realization, I was wrong again about something, nothing else about that event is going to be credible. The only thing she will try to tell you or convince you of is that it could have been Sebastian and that she's not stupid. And that's it. Back to the only topic. Not the only topic, but everything I'm talking about, it leads towards helping people see through the menagerie of garbage that's going on around you. And when I heard more than 90% of the tips are garbage, I believe it. Because at one point, it was a huge mistake, by the way, to publish my email at one point. Huge mistake. Because 90% is about the number of garbage that I received when it came to the case of Sebastian Rogers. And Sebastian, yes, Sebastian and Jack and Lily. And you know what happened? A few months later, I looked through older emails and I found some good ones that I overlooked that would have really helped me. So, if you listen to garbage, you will not get to the good. I got to it eventually on my own, but it would have saved me a lot of time. But I just tuned out. I just figured out, oh my God, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. 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 Oh my God. Well, should I say it like this? Yeah, of course. You know, if people accuse me of, if people say I'm, well, I want you to see why I do what I do and why I say what I say. And again, the people who know they don't fall into this category, they understand. And I think some may even be interested in this because this is a part of human nature. And the thing that you got to learn from this is how to dismiss, how to clear your mind and keep your mind very, very clear. So if you listen to hours of some, no, you can watch my channel too, but you're not invited to comment if all you want to do is either promote uh, theories that make no sense, or if you want to bother us about theories that somebody else came up with that you yourself know are not even plausible. At least tell me what you think. I think that. If a sentence starts like that, I listen. If somebody says such and such said that, I don't listen. I'm not interested. I need to know that you are linguistically committed to what you bring to my attention. And then if you need clarifications, sure, if you put some thought behind it already. But I'm not a garbage truck. So you don't unload stuff and then, you know, clutter up the comment section so that the people who come to my channel who are new only see this type of nonsense or see it first and then don't get to the good commenting parts, because the comment section is what I'm most proud of. When people, I don't see one like that anywhere else. That has been, and live chat has been from day one my priority. If the live chat quality is good, then everything will fall into place. The same way, when you know the intentions are in one way or the other, you can already predict what's coming next. So back to this. I asked Belinda, um, and she's not sure if it was Justin's dog or not. Oh, and Julia. Let me go back to what you sent me. Thank you so very much for paying the attention you always do. This was a while ago from my life, and Daniel was here. I'm so happy to hear you talking about Lily and Jack. Okay. Daniel, where are the kids? Okay. When did you get the ATV that morning, Daniel? That's a good question, right? Artemis, where are you? So, Daniel, did Jack like fishing with you or Lily? So, I explained before why I like these types of questions. Justin's dog can hardly walk. It's 15 years old. If you did not drive the ATV, okay, somebody asked about a question about the dog. Let me read what Julia wrote. Gee. So the question was about, oh my God, wait a minute. Sorry, but I don't have it, folks. The important thing is he didn't say the dog wasn't there or the dog didn't do it. He said the dog can hardly walk. It's 15 years old. Oh crap, I have to find it. Gee, man. You see, the clutter comes in. The clutter is a part of reality. As a matter of fact, when people are too organized, I don't really trust their level of expertise. I like people who, well, Einstein's office was really, really chaotic. When something's on your mind, um, you just don't worry about the presentation or the way that something is being sorted. And so I will sort things out, and it's happening very naturally right now. But there are still so many things I'm not able to find. Justin's dog being hardly able to walk and being 15 years old is not denial that he attacked the children. It's not denial that he was there that night. Doesn't mean he was, but we need to look at the question and the answer and whether or not somebody is answering the question properly. And I remember it wasn't about the condition of Justin's dog. It was a suggestion that Justin's dog could have done something, and maybe the dog was with Janie, maybe he, I don't know the story, but let's hear from what Belinda said. So, I want to listen to this again.
Newly unsealed court documents in Lily and Jack Sullivan's missing persons case are raising questions about the relationship between the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and stepfather Daniel Martel. Filed to support search warrant applications for the case, the documents lay out Brooks Murray's and Martel's responses to investigators' questions. When asked if Martel was ever physically abusive in their relationship, Brooks Murray said he would, quote, try to block her, hold her down, and once pushed her. She said,
by the way, people who are quiet like her and don't really talk a lot about these things, when they say something, I pay attention.
he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. Brooks Murray declined Global News' request for comment. Have you ever tried to block Malaya, hold her down, or push her?
No, all those allegations are false.
He's nodding.
And as I said, it was just to paint me in a bad light. That's basically why there's all of those allegations of abuse came out. I never physically abused Malaya.
Martel says he approved of these redactions being lifted, adding not much has changed when it comes to his public reputation.
I've been, trying to keep the public up to date as much as possible.
No, I don't. You're not keeping me up to date. It's not you who's keeping me up to date. As a matter of fact, it is what you're hiding from us. It's your avoidances and your leakage that keeps me up to date. But that's not your intention. What exactly are you keeping us up to date with? Tell me. Tell me one good piece of information you have intentionally forwarded to us in the last, what is it now? 8 months? 9 months?
My image hasn't changed at all. It was always Daniel's evil, Daniel's a monster, and...
Yeah, playing victim, alleging intentions. That's what it is. Alleging the intentions of the people who talk about him. You cannot do that. As an analyst, you cannot do that. And when somebody's doing that, it shows that there is an agenda. You just want me to look bad. You just don't like me. Did you, ask a child if you're suspicious of a child that your child has, or that the child has done something? Did you take that money? You hate me. You always think I'm bad. How about no? Pause. Why do you ask me that? Pause. Then you can go into it. Then you can start to, accuse somebody. Amanda Knox, remember when I asked her a simple question and she first accused me and said, my guilt. Amanda Knox is completely 100%, uh, how do I say this the right way? In my opinion, knowledgeable and guilty of something. She told us, but she alleged that I had the intention to, forget what it was. You see how, like so many guilty people that have gotten away with something, as she has, in my opinion, so, just like Casey Anthony, all of a sudden, years later, they're no longer satisfied and happy with having just gotten away with something. They want their image to be amazing, and they start to be a self proclaimed activist. Casey Anthony's trying that. I don't think it's gonna work. But there are enough stupid people who believe Amanda Knox. And I asked her, what do you know about what took place the night Meredith Kercher died? And I simply left a comment because she's talking about her activism, right? And I figured, you know what? I need an answer. And she told me the close cousin of mansplaining, interrogating. So she is alleging an intention that I didn't have. Basically, you don't like me, you want to put me down because I'm a woman. What makes somebody think it's cool? Okay, again, somebody, well, me, think it's cool. I'm trying to be cool? Really? I think if you watch my channel, you will know I'm not trying to be cool. To show up randomly, yes, I did. I showed up randomly. So you got me there. Okay, I did show up randomly, but I remember 10 years ago, and I wasn't actively looking into your case, but Peter Hyatt did, and I can only recommend on his blog the analysis if you have an extra 4 hours to spare. I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about several pieces of analysis. And he wrote one for like a very popular publication. I forgot what it was. I shared it before, I think. But I looked it up after I gotten this one. Okay. Are you guys familiar with Amanda Knox? Ask if you're not. If you're new to my channel, maybe not. But she was. I'm gonna get more in. Ask your questions, people. Ask the questions, and if you fill in the blanks, everybody. Let's do some teamwork here. Okay, that we're all gonna be on the same page. So even when I'm done speaking and I'm not online, that the conversations continue and everybody can learn something. And by the way, teaching is the best way to learn, everybody. So be uh, generous with your approach when you're here and share what you have. Pass it on. Whatever you've learned for free from me, only thing I ask, pass it on and mention where you've learned it. Reference me. Don't just go out there, pretend you know everything by nature. Always give credit to the people who have helped you and create a circle around us where we can all benefit and move straight ahead whenever a new case is coming and have the answers while the whole world is debating who knows what. What makes some okay? And question me, I did, about the most traumatic. Okay, now victim mode, traumatic moment of my life. While insinuating, look at how long the sentence is. When people write these long types of sentences, their reason is usually the simple truth is going to backfire on you. You're afraid of the simple truth of short answers. Especially when I've answered that question a million times. Google, just like Daniel Martell, you ask him a yes or no question, and he will say, I told you before. And sometimes I don't remember him telling us before. Sometimes he hasn't. So every time people give themselves away, my guilt. And I looked it up, and Peter Hyatt, of course, caught it as well as other things, because she keeps talking about my guilt. She did that before. She did that before, ladies and gentlemen. She did that before. I want to hear him talk about individuals.
With that painted narrative, the public automatically will just jump to the belief of guilt.
He says he provided his DNA to run forensics on Lily's blanket, which was found in the woods by family members on May 2nd.
They didn't need a warrant to have my DNA, so I was willing to do it. I watched them sign on the consent form, no criminal involvement in the case of Lily and Jack. So it was nice to see that, that box checked for no criminal involvement. I signed my name on the consent sheet.
The disappearance of the Sullivan siblings is still being treated as a missing persons investigation, despite the involvement of major crimes.
But when they do have a suspect and they dive into investigating that suspect or group
Yeah. Or group.
of individuals, then
Look at the language here. Listen to that. And thank you for pointing this out. Thank you so much for pointing this out. When they do have a suspect, now suspect is a lot stronger than persons of interest, right? People of a person of interest. And they dive, okay, of course, ocean reference once more.
dive into investigating that suspect or group of individuals.
Group of individuals, very soft language. Whenever they catch these scumbags, how about that? A group of individuals. He is thinking about the individuals. And there are 3 people in that group that I know of. If you think Justin was there, well, give me proof or give me a statement that indicates it. Otherwise, I have to completely dismiss it for now. My doors are always open to the truth, no matter where it comes from, what it turns out to be. But I'm not going to walk down a road unless there are indicators that I'm on the right track. So you always have to be able to get back on, even if you look somewhere else, because you think, oh, maybe there's something there. That suspect or group of individuals, not these scumbags who came together to
Then it will pivot to a criminal investigation at that
pivot, right? Again, pivot.
point.
LMAC
Completely change the way in which somebody does something. The teams performed exceptionally. Okay, so somebody told me before it was a basketball reference. By quickly pivoting to meet the increased demand for our customers. One more time.
Then they dive into investigating that suspect or group of individuals. Then it will pivot to a criminal investigation at that point.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova.
So have you learned something? Have I opened your eyes about something? Is there something that you're wondering? Is there something? Please share your comments, people. And again, don't let the show end when I'm done. Teach each other. Be open. Don't assume. I'm looking in all different directions, but everything leads me back here. So let me finish this. I asked Belinda. First of all, I asked her if there was something in the court documents, okay, about the dog biting Lily, because I hear so many different things from people. So she said, "Oh, that was said by Darren." And I hope it's okay for me to read this, Belinda, because I make sure these are the parts that are, sharing knowledge about what, you know, we have been talking about. That was said by Darren, and Janie told me her dog would nip Lily whenever she screamed. So I'm going to bypass Darren. I know he's exciting to some people, but I want to know what Belinda can tell me about what she remembers from what Janie has told her. I asked about her dog, and she said it was a small dog, but the kids were always loud, and the dog would nip at Lily. Really? This one? This little fluffy? Really? Listen to this. She also said there was no other dog there. And maybe I heard the neighbor's dog barking. LOL. So her question was, how can people lie so blatantly? I told her it was coming from her trailer, and she said there was no big dog in her trailer when there was. Why did she lie? When Belinda and others heard the big dog barking from the trailer, and she said, "You must hear the neighbor's dog. There is no big dog in my trailer." The question is, why does she lie? And this is something she asked me, of course. I don't get it, such stupid lies. So of course, I want to, it's called avoidance in plats. And the base lie we need to know. The base lie. What is the base lie? Remember my video about the base lie? When she told us, first she was raking at night, and then she blatantly lied and said, "No, I wasn't." Like mother, like son. No cars were towed. That's what Daniel said after his car was pulled over and towed away by law enforcement.
10 minutes after I heard.
I'll get more into this later, trust me. Oh, trust me.
This is where the boot. This is where I was raking that night. That's where.
This is where I was raking that night. No kids. This is from my video, by the way, the video called Base Lies. You can look at more details. You can look it up. No kids here. Why have a pool? Was not raking the driveway on Thursday night. If I did not, don't you think RCMP would notice? They are not stupid. Yeah. Then later she said, "Yes, I was raking where the pool was going around supper time Thursday night. Supper time is not nice. And supper time was still daylight, from what I remember looking up." So, to answer your question, Belinda, good question. And it's a question that people new to this are bound to have. Such stupid lies, I don't get it. That's her comment. Such stupid lies, I don't get it. Well, that's her baseline. You don't have to be able to relate to it. The same way you don't have to be able to relate to a motive for it to be a motive. We have to take people at face value. When you have the baselines, it's going to be easier to do deception detection in the future because you will always be aware. Always be aware. easily and quickly. Oh my gosh, this is a pattern when she lies. This is a pattern when she tells the truth. And this is when she wants to get information from you and uses any type of way possible to confuse you and to get you to forget what she had previously stated. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike the Man, and I'll see you soon.
There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened.
Yeah. Okay, so there's Fluffy, right? But is that the real Fluffy? Is that the real dog? Because now I'm paying a little bit more attention to this. I want to know. I want to know what dog was actually there. Oh, wait a minute.
So this is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of. Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, I'm over here, fed my chickens.
In front of helicopters running, now that Janie's got a ring, Fluffy's never gonna be the same. Why was she so concerned about the RV searching? Or was there something else hidden in the background lurking? How did she know where everything took place? She can lie all day and keep a straight face. Haley and Belinda remember a different dog. It's now been removed and deleted from the call log. She goes on and on about Tucker's barking, but Fluffy was quiet through the CBC's talking. How would this have stopped if she'd just gotten up? Was she raking the drive to remove the blood? Or does she look for support for her hate of Lily screaming? Drifting in and out of sleep, it is Janie who's dreaming. What if Jack ran into trouble inside of the house? And when D&M realised they sent Lily out, and when Lily started screaming, she turned a blind eye. She knew Tucker was dangerous, but she let him walk by. Piece by piece, the puzzle is revealing its picture. It's contained in the language and without conjecture. I put my Platts goggles on and examined the info, and I let the words take me wherever they would go. I watched the dots connect up to a new possibility. Tucker caused harm to precious young Lily.
My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, a dog started barking, and the kids were out in the yard. Now, you can see there's two swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played. That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. Right. If two kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily to be in the house.
In front of helicopters running, now that Janie's got a right, Fluffy's never gonna be the same. Janie's BS is confusing the story. claims of knowledge are banal and boring. And what about the cars of the Pipeline Boys? Haley said Chance's car made a lot of noise. And it was black, maybe 6 speed explains a 5. Didn't need gear 6 on that fateful night. Even Haley's story keeps chopping and changing, protecting Malaya by rearranging. Did she see Danny doing rugs in the bathroom? She's trying to walk it back, but her words leave no room. Did Danny really hear the kids getting marched out the front? Was her search in the woods just a PR stunt? Is she the dumbest person alive in this world? She believed that her lies will never unfurl. Doing Facebook Lives, this has gone beyond silly. Not a nice word to say about Jack or Lily, the bitter old angry trite hillbilly. If Jack and Lily were the focus of Janie's attention, I wouldn't write these songs, I would not need to mention that victim blaming is the trait of the family. As the truth burns a hole in her manifest destiny, she obstructs the justice and becomes an accessory of 2 missing children long after the fact. She has made a choice from which there's no walking back.
So, the next thing you know, I was come out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here, Malaya was standing, right here, with Meadow on her hip, and I come out, and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Right up here.
So this is the dog that we have been seeing. A little black and white dog. This one seems mild-mannered. So did she have a different dog before that was really, really aggressive? Meaning a dog that right now, if he was there instead of this one, would be almost on attack of the intruders in the house, because I don't see this one being, you know what I mean?
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise.